because for every event there must be an antecedent factor. It is not my belief, but that is what ought to have been.
We have details of that. Also, government in the dilemma over controversial LI 2462, which allows mining in forest reserves. What's the sticking point?
Currently, the challenge we have now is that entry has been allowed in the past, and we have big mining companies that are already in the forest, and it looks like we don't have an option but to regulate that.
Also in this package, Ghana Health Service warns of a potential cholera surge in the central region as inconsistent water supply worsens the outbreak, with 20 out of 23 districts all reporting cases.
2025, as we speak or as we meet today, Ewutu Senya, Asin North, Azuna East, Upper Dentra, West, and Gomoa East, even though they recorded cases in 2024, that's October and November, currently with this outbreak that we are having.
And their sports.
Kumasi Asante Kotoko suspends all football activities until further notice following the fatal stabbing of a club fan in Nswatre. And
much later, Greater Accra Regional Minister secures backing of his predecessor to implement bold sanitation agenda, proposing punishment for non-performing MMDCEs.
Any chief executive who's found wanting and cannot deliver, she must recommend that person to be dismissed. For the minister to succeed, one, she needs to have some engagement with the people, the market people, with the executives.
That and more coming up in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on for details. And this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. We start off from Parliament, and this afternoon there's heightened security there ahead of proceedings today, with a perimeter set up right at the entrance of the chamber. Well, this is to block the 4 suspended MPs from accessing the chamber, as well as weed out non-performing or non-MPs from entering. The House is expected to take a decision on the approval of several ministerial nominees also today. Let me take you live there now, and correspondent Kweku Asante is standing by. Kweku, has any official explanation actually been offered for this heightened security in Parliament?
Well, not yet, Emefa. Yesterday, the minority did hold a news conference at which they challenged the Speaker's decision to suspend 4 of their colleagues. And later on, we heard from the NPP that described that decision as completely unconstitutional. In fact, the Deputy General Secretary was telling Elton yesterday on Paul that they expect their 4 MPs the 3 MPs to disregard that decision and actually go to Parliament and go and serve. And we do understand that in reaction to some of these commentaries, Parliament has taken a decision to beef up the state. And I see MPs coming in, some of them wearing red armbands, red scarves, and other things in protest for what has happened. And let me try and talk to some of them as to why exactly they are wearing these red armbands. Honorable, you're allowed to join me briefly. Why, Dr. Jonathan, why are you wearing red armbands and other things?
I'll talk to you after everything. Okay?
Well, yes, they say they'll talk to us. We are now coming in from the Standard, and they say they want their leadership. They come in with red armbands on their heads and their hands, everything. They say they are challenging the decision of the Speaker to impose those sanctions on their colleagues. And so we expect that they will vent their spleen on the floor to the Emefa. And already their leadership are yet to brief us specifically why they are taking this decision. I also see the deputy leader in red herself coming in. As we speak, this entrance to the chamber, that is the normal entry that is used, has been cordoned off for now, and the leadership and other members have to now walk in through the coffee shop. Police who are very familiar with how the entrances to Parliament are regulated. And so they are coming in, not speaking now, but saying that they are resisting that decision of the Speaker of Parliament to suspend their members, and they will decide that they will not participate in some of these proceedings until that decision is. So I see national executives as well. I see Henry Nanabuate, who is saying, let me attempt and see if I can get Henry Nanabuate to support. Henry Nanabuate is alive on journey. Henry Nanabuate is also not willing to speak. So that's another situation. I see national executives of the party together with their MPs walking from the 100 and making their way into the chamber.
But have you spotted any of the suspended MPs?
None of them so far. They've come in. The MPs is just about 8 years. And so it's very easy to spot all of them. From the way they are coming from the Justice 100, it will suggest that they have had a caucus meeting, they've all agreed, and they've all walked in. I've seen about 60 of them together with their national executives walking into the chamber right now. And so it's the leadership can, Alexander Markin and the others will now come in, and then we'll get a sense of what exactly they intend to do about this situation. And so that is the situation now. But none of the 4 MPs, including the 2 from the NDC side and 1 from the NDC side, have been spotted making their way into the chamber.
Okay, but we know that there was a memo sent by the minority to the Speaker. Do we have any response as yet from the Speaker's office? Any indication?
My check this morning indicates that has not been done. There has not been response to the minority leaders of yet. In that memo also, Alexander Apawu asked for a meeting with the leadership of, in fact, with the Speaker of Parliament, as you say. That also has not happened. But normally there will be 3 sitting meetings where we would expect that the leader will be able to speak to the Speaker of Parliament and vent his claim and raise the concerns he may have for the process and the procedure that he needs to suspend those 4 MPs. But as we speak, it will suggest that they have not made any headway, given how they are clad in black and red, making their way to the chamber as a way of protest to actually voice their concern about how the Speaker of Parliament has suspended 3 of their colleagues.
Well, let's talk about the ministerial nominees that are expected to be approved, and what would the process be?
There are 17 of them that were vetted on Thursday and Friday, including Samuel Okudika Ablakwa, Samuel Nati George. The NPP had said they were opposed to Sam George and also Samuel Okudika Ablakwa. When they vetted Sam George, they were there, they took a decision. Our understanding is that will be by majority decision. And so if nothing changed between now and when the report hit the floor, we expected that Samuel Nati George will go through by way of a secret vote. When it comes to Samuel Okudika Ablakwa, however, because the NPP had boycotted the process before it ended, it was only NDC MPs that were around at the time the decision was taken. And so the decision will be by consensus, and that will mean by a voice vote, the NDC MPs will approve Samuel Okudika Ablakwa, and about 11 others that were vetted on Friday up until late Friday evening when all these issues happened. And so we are expecting a total of 17 ministerial nominees to be approved today, with 1, Sam George, being subjected to a secret vote now.
Please tell me that's not the only thing up for consideration today in Parliament.
Well, there is also the matter of the reconstitution of the appointment committee. The NDC side and the NPP side are expected to meet the Speaker of Parliament today to reconstitute that committee. And so, apart from the ex-official members, those persons that are there by virtue of office, that is the Deputy Speaker, the leaders and all that, the others, the 5 other members expected to be considered by way of the majority in Parliament, and the minority side will also be changed. And that meeting, we expect it to happen at 10 o'clock a.m. today. Understanding is that it hasn't happened yet. And then it will happen perhaps before sitting starts, and then the motion will put to a vote on the floor to reconstitute this committee and also set up other more committees.
That's Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante there, taking us through what's to expect later today in the House amidst the tightened security in Parliament. But speaking of suspended MPs, Alexander Apawu marking minority leader should have been part of those who were suspended. That's according to the chairman of the Appointments Committee in Parliament and First Deputy Speaker Bernard Ahiafo. He's been speaking to my colleague Blessed Suga. Tells us why.
If we want to go into the integrity of this particular matter, we may suffer a harsher punishment than the suspension. If I were to report this particular matter, what will happen is that Speaker would have referred the matter to privileges. However, this is a contempt in facie parliamentary. It happened in Parliament. So a decision can be taken on it by the Speaker of Parliament without saying be referred to Privileges Committee. If you disobey, you damage the credibility or integrity of the courts, there will be a motion citing you for contempt. The same thing applies in Parliament. But in this case, the contempt is committed before the court. What the court needs no further evidence to punish you for contempt, because such an act happened in the presence of the court. Parliamentary committees are parliamentary sitting. I was actually surprised about the turn of events because I least expected the minority side to be pulling the table because it hasn't gotten to that. If before taking a view that Honorable Akando has brought the chiefs and then the opinion leaders from Sevi, Yaboso, based on the understanding we had to conduct his vetting on that fateful day. And all of a sudden, a decision was taken that we are not going to vet Akando. I was personally not happy, and I don't think it should come to that.
Do you have any clear recollection on who is responsible for giving that marching order? And do you believe that that person is contained in a list of 4 MPs who have now been suspended?
Well, I believe that person is not contained in the list of 4 MPs to be suspended.
Really?
Nevertheless, I must place on record that the minority leader is smart and safe. I have heard him asking them to do some of the things that they did. But when they were about to start, he left the room. It was later that he came back to the room. So at the scene, the actual scene where they were dragging the table and putting the chairs on the table, he was at that material moment not in the room. So, but I know that Jerry was under his instruction to move to go and stop Akando from taking the seat to be sworn in.
How come?
He asked his side that they should all put on the microphone. I have heard him saying they should call some people to come to the vetting room.
That's the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament and Chairman of the Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafo. They're speaking to Blessed Suga on the PM Express show last night. The full interview is available on all our social media platforms. Please do catch it. Now, this afternoon, government has begun review of the gold for oil policy, holding a crucial meeting with petroleum sector stakeholders amid concerns over potential fuel shortages in part of the country. On his first day in office, Mr. Jinapor met with key industry groups, including the bulk oil distribution companies, the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, and of course the oil transport companies.
We're also reviewing the gold for oil program as we promised in our manifesto, and already the Minister of Finance is working on the gold aspect. He intends to set up what he describes as a gold board. On our side too, we are reviewing it, and so if you see some work, it's just an interim arrangement. You can't truncate the process until you have a workable solution. The President himself is setting up another committee to help the whole sector so that we can have enhanced transparency and work. And so the issue of forex will be dealt with. The issue of the gold for oil will also be worked. And all the other agencies, we intend to take a holistic view of all the agencies. But please, let me assure you that we intend to work with you. We cannot claim to know all. In this sector, you captains of industry sometimes even know better than those of us who are at the helm of affairs.
So that's Energy Minister John Jinapor there. My colleague Michael Ashale is sitting through that meeting for us and joins us on the line. Bring us up to speed with the discussions, especially on the potential fuel shortages and solutions.
Well, Emefa, we already know that in December and January, in the early of January, there were complaints from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies and the distributors themselves that they were not having enough products in Kumasi and then in Takari. That has come strongly with the minister meeting all of these groups, especially the transport drivers themselves again. What the agreement here is that they are going to be meeting as often as possible. And the minister says that his proposal is a review of the entire downstream petroleum sector to try and whip out or remove the inefficiencies that he thinks that have been bedeviling that particular sector. And he hopes that after this, these potential shortages will be uprooted from the system.
And this is the first of many meetings to come. We've been hearing from the CEO of the bulk oil distribution companies, Dr. Patrick Ofori. What exactly has he been saying too?
Well, Emefa, particularly he has been complaining about how entities like the Tema Oil Refinery has been treating them. And again, also he's been complaining about some unilateral charges that have been slapped on them from different entities. And they think that some of these things must stop. And again, also be complaining about regulation. Different ministries responsible for different aspects of their work. They want all of this streamlined.
Our only request will be the protection of our investment. And why do we say this? Some time back, we were made to invest within the Tama enclave. We were made to construct pipelines to pass through TOR to ensure that there are no pipelines crisscrossing. But here we are at times that you wake up one morning without even recourse to the regulator. TOR will raise a new bill that they will invoice you, that throughput fee is this. These are some of the things that we want the sector minister to look at. You are very familiar with stabilization clauses in the upstream, but unfortunately, our members are at the mercy of frequent policy changes. And a typical example is zonalization. We were made to invest in tank farms within the Eastern Corridor, the Tema Enclave, within a space of few time. Then the regulator comes in, whether we've recovered our investment or not. Then comes in zonalization that we needed to do that. So as you really want us to progress, the kind of protection that the IOTCs get with the upstream is something that we'll be looking forward at. So that if I'm borrowing and I'm investing maybe over $10 million, certain level of protectionism needs to happen.
That's the CEO of the bulk oil distribution companies, Dr. Patrick Ofori there. On to mining now, and the government remains locked in deliberations over whether to revoke or uphold the contentious legislative instrument LI 2462, which permits mining in forest reserves, while environmentalists and civil society groups continue to push for its revocation. Citing ecological destruction, proponents argue that controlled mining could boost economic growth. But what exactly is holding back that final decision? Chief Executive of the Environmental Protection Agency, Professor Nanama Klutse, tells my colleague Elton Brobe on the Pulse that there are challenges that must be addressed.
The law is not to encourage mining in the forest area, it's to regulate. The law can be repealed if the president of the day says, I will not allow mining in the forest area. We can repeal the law because then there's no regulation in the forest area to do again.
What would be your recommendation towards this? If you are to recommend, what would be that recommendation?
My recommendation would be President boldly to say there should not be any mining in the forest area, and then there will not be any regulation because it's not happening. But currently, the challenge we have now is that entry has been allowed in the past, and we have big mining companies that are already in the forest. And it looks like we don't have an option but to regulate that. Without the law, we allow them to practice or to mine any way they want in the forest. So the president has the power to repeal the law, to revoke the licenses that they have been given. Once that license is revoked, EPA license is also revoked automatically.
Right.
And I heard last week that the president said we should revoke most of those licenses. And I hope that the big mining companies with all their powers will have their licenses revoked as well, so that we will not have mining in the forest and there will not be any more law about regulating mining in the forest area.
And so that review, is it underway to determine who should have its license revoked as far as the EPA is concerned, those who are mining the forest reserves?
Yeah, so I had a phone call with the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources this afternoon. And he's setting up a committee to have extensive discussion on this. So EPA has a representative there. Once that is set, they are ready to discuss this extensively to see the way we have to go as a people.
Professor Nanama Klutse is the Chief Executive of the Environmental Protection Authority, speaking to Elton Brobe on the Pulse. You want to catch the Pulse later today at 3 p.m. on the Joy News channel and also all our social media platforms. Still on mining-related issues, barely 2 weeks after the violent clash in the mining town of Obuasi, it remains unclear the stage of the government's announced probe into the incident. President Mahama ordered an immediate investigation to uncover the circumstances surrounding that incident, but progress on the process remains unclear to the public. There's more in this News Desk report by my colleague Emmanuel Bright-Kweko.
9 persons died and several others were injured in the clash between some illegal miners and the military in Obuasi on January 18. A day after the violent clash, the president ordered an immediate investigation, assuring the public that anyone found to have acted unlawfully would face justice. Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amakwehene, during a visit to the Obuasi community, also assured of the President's commitment to ascertaining circumstances leading to the loss of lives and other severe injuries.
The President has ordered an investigation in the process, so we want to carry everyone along.
There is relative calm in Obuasi Township as schools and other socio-economic activities have resumed. However, people are still in limbo on the president's promised investigation into the incident. Joy News checks indicate no public communication yet on the constitution of a committee or commission of inquiry. Families of the deceased are in anticipation of thorough investigation as they demand justice for the lost lives. My son's death can't be normal. I suspect someone commanded them to kill my son. We must know who ordered the commander to open fire. He wants the government to bring finality to the matter so we know the truth in there. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bratsquiku.
We'll take a quick break here on the Midday News live on Joy 99.7 FM, hits 103.9 FM here in Accra. We're on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. We've been to Parliament where security has been beefed up, especially at the entrance of the chamber to block suspended MPs from accessing the chamber. A return from the break, we have sports, and Greater Accra Regional Minister secures backing of predecessor to implement his bold sanitation agenda, proposing punishment for non-performing MMDCs.
Any chief executive who's found wanting and cannot deliver, she must recommend that person to be dismissed. For the minister to succeed, one, she needs to have some engagement with the people, the market people, with the executives.
Where did I? Now I don't know when I just saw. Obiang, what's the chrome ha? Ain't you want to say Petrol Soul for your energizing dreams for motion? Hey boy.
Petrol Soul are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you, oh.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrolsoulcrm.com to register online.
Petrol Soul, energizing dreams.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Victor Achutamaklo with all the warnings in the studios has sports. What's up?
Well, Kumasi Asante Kotoko have put all football-related activities on hold until further notice following the unfortunate incident which happened in Nswatre over the weekend. Kotoko said they will not resume footballing duties until justice is served and concrete steps are taken to prevent such barbaric acts from ever happening again. The announcement comes less than 12 hours after the club met with the IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare. At that meeting, Kotoko were represented by the Asante Henes Nkontomponia Ferre Hene, Nana Apinkra Kwesi Ewua the First, who's chairman of Kotoko's IMC, and the club's head of sporting affairs, James Kwesi Appiah, who was the leader of delegation for Sunday's match at Nswatreman. Here's lawyer Safuduku, who spoke on behalf of the club.
But I believe that the best way to do it is to give it to the police. And then we are excited about the arrest of the 3 persons so far. We only hope and believe that more and more people will be arrested so that the culprits will be apprehended. So apart from what the police has put out there, the others, let us keep them on our chest and then we'll get them to the police. In fact, we are very much satisfied. If you look at the swift manner with which they have made the arrest and the fact that the IGP has personally visited us, I think that we have to commend them, and we are satisfied so far.
Safuduku is a legal administrator. He spoke on behalf of the club at today's meeting with the IGP.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Victor Achitomaklo with sports. Now, former Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover is turning up the heat on metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives, MMDCs, who would fail to deliver on the region's sanitation agenda. He insists on their immediate dismissal, saying that only dedicated and results-driven officials should be entrusted with the crucial task of keeping the capital clean. Well, this is after the current minister, Linda Albiniwa Akwele Oklu, reintroduced Sanitation Day as part of a vision to tackle the issue head-on, making it a key indicator for MMDCs.
One of the key performance indicators for metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives will be their effectiveness in managing sanitation and waste. In line with this, there will be a regional sanitation day on the last Friday of every month.
Well, the former minister Titus Glover admits it's a Herculean task, but she can only achieve results with ready-to-work assemblies.
For the minister to succeed, one, she needs to have some engagement with the people, like the press that she organized yesterday. The market people with the executives need to sit with them, the assembly themselves. She must not go and pamper chief executive with assemblies. Any chief executive who's found wanting and cannot deliver, she must recommend that person to be dismissed. I only had about 8 months in office. Therefore, I never had an opportunity. If I had a full hall, I would have put my feet down.
That's the former Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover. Now on to health, and the Ghana Health Service is warning of a potential surge, the cholera outbreak in Central Region, as inconsistent water supply is worsening the situation. Eric Asante has more.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Akoriye's visit to the Central Region comes as cholera cases in the region continues to pose a significant public health threat. The Regional Directorate had raised an urgent alert over a potential surge as inconsistent water supply continues to affect some communities in the municipality. The Acting Central Regional Health Director, Dr. Agnes Anani, briefed stakeholders on the current situation in the region.
2025, as we speak or as we meet today, Ewutu Senya, Asin North, Aguna East, Upper Dentra, West and Gomoa East, even though the recorded cases in 2024, that's October and November, currently with this outbreak that we are having, they are not part. But we have a Kumfi and Esikuma Odobin Brakwa. They are reporting cases in this year. So far we've had a total admission of 1,592 and we've made a total discharges of 1,573. Our death stands at 14 people, and these deaths were recorded in Ewutu Senya East Municipality, where we had 8. And I must say that with these 8 was the early stages of cholera that we experienced within the district. And these cases, majority of them reported late.
Professor Akoria called for a collaborative effort to curb a possible surge in the Central Region and other places.
That's Eric Asante's report from the Central Region. It's time for MNJ, SNJ. Hi in the studio. What's up? What are people talking about on social media on a Tuesday? What's up?
It's still Grammys. Grammys still, yeah.
More than 1 million posts on that on Grammys.
Wow. But basically, it's more of Kendrick Lamar. You know, he won 5 Grammys with a diss song, and everybody's wondering, how are you taking 5 Grammy awards with, you know, a song that's it's
a comment. Someone says that Russ TD says that Kendrick won 0 Grammys for Good Kid. 0 Grammys, but when he started to diss someone, he won 5 Grammys.
Bad songs win the awards.
Yes,
you.
Okay. You know, bad things actually gets the press talking. Wow. And away from that, we also have the Insurgent FC still trending. The Kotoko supporter who died, Ignatius Bafo is also trending alongside that. According to sources, he's been arrested.
Yes, was
and
arrested yesterday.
He's trending on social media. People have been sharing their thoughts on that.
And also, we know that the Kotoko players have said that they're not going to play anything, no football till justice is served. So for now, that's what we have, and hopefully they can settle this and we can play football first.
Today, the entertainment industry, they are on break. They want to gain their Grammys, you know. So we are trying to.
I am the Protocol fan, so we're on break. We're on break.
Well, let's go. Thank you so much, girls, and that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We have entertainment on Hit 103.9 FM. Living Word with Pastor Mensah Otabil is up next. The Call to Leadership, episode 2. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.